Hi guys, I'm Kat and welcome back to my channel. This is something I haven't talked about in a really long time. And there's a reason for that. So on my channel, I started to share like ghostly experiences that I had growing up and just kind of throughout my life. And I really liked to share it. I love spooky things. I want to get back to starting to talk about spooky things. But there's a reason why I stopped talking about ghost stories. And a lot of people who do talk about ghost stories probably could tell you the same exact thing, which is whenever you talk about the ghostly experiences that you have or some paranormal experiences that you have in your normal life, whenever you talk about it more often, it's almost like it opens a window for more of it to happen. And so eventually it gets to the point where you don't want to talk about it as often because you don't want it to continuously happen. That being said, today I'm going to share an experience with you that I had a couple of days ago. And I just want to share that with you because I love watching ghost stories. I love A Haunting, and it's a show called The Ghost Inside My Child, which is talking about reincarnation. I love celebrity ghost stories. I love watching people tell their ghost stories because it's so fun for me and so interesting to see those experiences. And I know there's a lot of people on this platform who love to hear those experiences. So I am going to sit here on my sister's bed right now and share a very recent experience that I had in this apartment. Had to move the light a little bit because this window over here keeps doing a fun little glare. But I've had experiences in this apartment before. They haven't been as, I don't know, I want to say as big as the ones that I've had in past experiences. But I think part of that reason is because this building is only about 6 years old. I moved in here about 4 years ago, and the building was about 2 to 3 years old before I moved in. So it's pretty new. And in my past experiences, I lived in houses that were really old. So here, it's never been something that's been like so massively bad and uncomfortable that I can't handle it. But there have been times where, so right now I don't live alone anymore. My sister lives with me. That's why I'm sitting in my living room on my sister's bed, because that's where her stuff is. But when I was living alone, I would always feel like there was a presence in the apartment. I'd hear noises that weren't my cats. My cats would sometimes like react to certain things, or they'll do that thing where you can't see it, but they'll start like bapping at something, you know, or they'll stare at something, and not in that weird cat zone out way where the cats will zone out and stare at something, but in a way that like they can see something that I can't. So like I've had experiences here. There have only been a couple of times where it's been enough to where I'm like, holy shit, and that stuck with me. And this is one of them. So this actually happened a few days ago. And my sister and I were about to go to bed. It was kind of pretty late at night. We were about to go to bed. We said goodnight to each other after we sat on the floor and ate food with each other. We said goodnight to each other, and I went into my room. I was watching Teen Wolf for a while, and then I was about to just kind of close my eyes and go to sleep. But every time I closed my eyes, I would get this image of a woman standing in my room. And it wasn't like a creepy, like a woman with a veil, creepy kind of image. It was just like a woman with long, dark hair standing in my room. And in my room, there's this corner where I have my Christmas tree up. I haven't taken it down, and there's no point because we're about to go into the time where I have to put it back up anyway. So it's stayed up since last Christmas. And it's gold, and it's a pencil tree, and it's in my corner. And every time I closed my eyes, like when I was in between the half asleep and half awake world, I would see this woman with long dark hair standing in that corner. And so I'd wake up every time I started to see it. My eyes would be closed, and then I'd start to see that image, and I'd get up and like look at that corner. There'd be nothing there, and then I'd do it again, and I'd see that image again, and then I'd look again, and there was nothing there. So eventually I was like, okay, you know, whatever, fine. But I kept hearing noises, and I kept putting it up to my sister being out here. Her bed creaks. I don't know if you can hear it, but her bed creaks. It has wheels on it every time she moves. I have wooden floors. It moves. And like my cats and stuff like that. I kept putting it up to that because, you know, there's another person living here now. but it kept sounding like the noises were in my room. Almost like, you know, when someone, like you're in a room with someone and maybe it's dark or you're not looking at them, but you can still hear them moving around. It kind of sounded like that. And so I kept looking around and there's nobody there. Eventually, I actually started to fall asleep, but I kept getting this feeling like there was someone in the room. And not just a person, it felt like a female presence, like a woman was in my room. The best way I can explain this, and I was thinking about how to explain this, is, you know, if you've ever been to a birthday party or a party that has a piñata and you get blindfolded and you can feel the presence of the people around you. You can't see them, but you can feel the presence of the people around them. And sometimes I think certain people have certain strong energies, and I do believe that some women have a really strong energy to where you can sense that it's a female presence. That's the best way I can describe it, where you're blindfolded, about to hit the piñata, but you can still feel the presence of the people around you. That's what it felt like. I kept feeling like, and it wasn't like, I kept asking myself, is this just a presence of a person? But no, I kept feeling like it was the presence of a woman in my room. Like there was just a woman standing in my room. And it wasn't my sister, because she was out here like starting to go to sleep. It just felt like there was a woman standing in my room. And so I started to get uncomfortable, because I believe that there's different like planes of existence, where you have ours, the physical plane where we're alive and humans, and then you have the ghostly plane, I guess, where it's like the spiritual plane, where it's their realm. And sometimes our plane and that plane kind of intermingle and they come together because they're so close to each other. And a lot of people believe like around Halloween and around Yule, especially Yule, is when that veil that separates those two starts to really thin, and that's when the spirits can come into our existence. And I think that's partly why when we do sense something like that, like a spiritual energy, it makes us uncomfortable. Not because, like, of course there are spiritual energies that make you feel like you're threatened, but there are also, when you feel a spiritual energy, it makes you feel scared and uncomfortable, probably because it doesn't feel, they're not part of this plane anymore, so it doesn't match your energy, so it feels uncomfortable and strange, where you don't feel scared, but you just feel a little off-put. And so I felt off-put, I felt uncomfortable, and so I got up and I turned on my lamp, I turned on my fairy lights, I even turned on my TV and my PlayStation just for it to sit like with the light on, and I closed my bathroom door and I closed my closet door. Now this apartment, it's a weird shape. So you have my bedroom, which is like behind the light, right in front of me. You have the bathroom door that is in my bedroom, and then you have over here, there's a hallway. You have a door that leads to the bathroom over here too. And it creates a full circle. If you have all the doors open, it creates a full circle. And I don't know if this is real or not, but for some reason my brain believes that when you have something that's like a full circle like that, it gives the opportunity to, I don't want to say portal, but kind of like a portal, and it's like constant moving energy because it's a circle. And so for some reason, my brain and my whole energy that felt uncomfortable, because I could still, even while I was walking around and completely awake and turning these lights on, I could feel this female presence in my room. I felt like I needed to close these doors. It just made me feel better. And so I closed the doors, and I asked my sister, I was like, did you see me turn on all the lights? And she goes, yeah, and then I explained to her why. And I laid back down, I put my glasses on, and I laid back down. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go back to sleep because I was uncomfortable. And I think my cats sensed that I was uncomfortable, because one of them came up and he laid like on my shoulder, and eventually like hearing his purring and feeling how warm he was made me feel a lot safer. For some reason, when my cats are with me in my room, when I feel these presences, it just makes me feel more comfortable and a lot safer. I think it's because they're connected to the universe and they have this special kind of energy. I mean, they were the guardians of the underworld. I mean, there's something special about cats. I don't think cats are like animals. I think they're just these ethereal beings that choose to live with us. And so when they're with me, I just feel a lot safer. That presence didn't end up leaving, but because my cat was, I just felt more comfortable. And eventually I did fall asleep. And the next day I told my sister, and it just felt like there was this woman in my room, just standing in my room, and it just felt uncomfortable. Now, usually this is something that I'd be able to just like, okay, this happened, and then I'd be able to move on. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Like, since it happened, it's just been in my brain, just like an after image. And basically what an after image is when you stare at a light, and then when you close your eyes or when you look away, you can still see that image, kind of like that. And I haven't stopped being able to think about it. And here's why. So I don't know if I talked about this other story on my channel before. I can't remember, but this happened a long time ago. This happened a while ago. I was still working at the adult store when this happened. Basically, it was when I was living alone when my sister wasn't here. And I was asleep in my room, and I was a couple of hours before I had to get up to go to work, so I kept snoozing my phone and going back to sleep. At some point, as it got closer to when I had to get up, I kept hearing noises in my room. I was still like half awake and half asleep, so I wasn't sure if I was hearing noises or because I was in that middle world, I was just like, my brain was kind of waking up. And then it went quiet, and then I distinctly heard someone say, "Hey." But it wasn't like in the room or in the other room. It sounded like someone was standing, like when you're laying on your side and your ear is up, it sounded like someone was standing this close to me above my ear and said, "Hey." So that obviously scared me. I sat upright and looked around. But the reason it scared me the most was because it sounded like it was my mom. The voice sounded like my mom's voice. And so there was a second where, yeah, it scared the shit out of me, but I thought my mom was in my apartment, that somehow she got in here, and she got in the building, and she was here, and I was also worried because, like, my mom wouldn't just come to my apartment for no reason, so that scared me. And then I got up, because no one was in the room, so I got up and I looked around my apartment. Nobody was in the apartment. I even opened closets. Nobody was here. So then it dawned on me that whatever voice I heard that sounded like my mom was something else. And I've become really interested in disembodied voices because that's a whole other subject, which is terrifying. But I also was like, I need to message my mom and see if maybe like I was feeling some energy from her, like something bad happened, and that's why I heard her voice. But when I asked her, is there something wrong? She said no. And I told her, I distinctly heard someone say, "Hey" to me in my ear, in my room, in your voice. And she's like, no, and that's really weird. And so it's not the first time I've had an experience with a female energy only in my room. It's never been out here. That's never happened out here. It only happens in my room. And so I think that's why this more current experience has stuck out to me, because feeling that female presence in my room and getting that image of a woman with long black hair, and then thinking about that previous experience, it just like sticks out to me more because it only happens to me in my room. But it's never where I feel scared and uncomfortable, and that's good. Like uncomfortable to the point where I'm like, I can't be in there, and oh my god, and I need to cleanse it. No, it's never been like that, which I feel really lucky about. I did mention before, I made a video about this, that I believe I'm an empath and a sensitive. But also, my sister and my cousins and I have had experiences in our past that are really distinct. Especially me and my sister and my cousin Bryce. We've always had these experiences, and we're all empaths and we're all sensitives. And we have had presences and energies attached to us, and like when we lived together, we lived in this big yellow house where we had experiences together, and then when we all moved to another house, it was like that energy attached to us and moved with us. And I've had experiences where I've lived in houses like that, where I've had a presence attached to me and come with me. And I think it's because I'm an empath and because I am a sensitive. And my sister, who I could ask about it later, has had experiences like that too, where something attaches to us and comes with us. So I don't know if that's what that is, if maybe there's an energy that's attached to me, if it's a family member that I'm not sure about that has attached to me as well. I have had family members die. It could be that. It could be some other energy that I've melded with. It could also be that I live on historic 25th Street, which is one of the most haunted places in Utah. And it's one of the oldest places in Utah. And I have an obsession with it and a massive connection to it emotionally and mentally and physically and spiritually. I can't necessarily explain it, but I just feel this huge connection to this street. And my love for it is so deep. And when I walk down this street, I feel like I've been there before and like I was there when it first began. It's really hard to explain. And I just wonder if, because I feel that connection, and because of that, maybe someone on that road also connected with me too, and we've just bonded. I don't mind there being another presence in this apartment. I don't. And I know my sister doesn't either. As long as we can, like, I believe in coexistence. I believe that we can live in the same space, just as long as it's respectful and we have an understanding, you know, I'm okay with that. But it's been a long time since I've had an experience that was so distinct that it's stuck out to me to that point where I can't stop thinking about it. And just like that image of the only time I could see it was when I closed my eyes and I could see her standing next to my Christmas tree in my room. And I rarely have those images where it's like in this apartment. And I can remember like the image of every detail, but I see someone standing in here. It happens sometimes. But yeah, and it's always a female presence in my room. And I'm not sure why that is. And so maybe there's someone out there who can explain that to me. But with it being September, we're going into October, which October is one of the times when the veil is a bit thinner. And then soon we're going to go into Yule. And that veil is going to start to get thinner too. So I don't know. We're going to find out if something happens. But all I know is that that it was very distinct. And if there is someone connected to me, I hope it's for good reasons. And I hope that I help them and I give them something that helps them feel, I don't know, good. It's so hard to explain. I feel like because I have this sensitive energy and because I'm an empath, it does make it easier for things to attach to me. And I have had negative things attached to me, but I have also had really positive things attached to me, and I can't help but feel like when you get attached to, especially when it's just a person and nothing like negative and dangerous or malevolent, when it's very benevolent, it just to me it feels like maybe they need that connection. Maybe it's loneliness, or maybe they need that connection, I don't know, to continue the way they are, and I'm okay with that. Not okay with the malevolent energy. I close myself off to that. I absolutely do not invite that. That is not invited, and I will not tolerate it at all. But yeah, so if anybody has any thoughts or any explanation or something like that, if they've ever had an experience like this before, let me know. I do have things in this apartment that are pretty old from thrift stores. These paintings behind me being some of those things. I have other stuff like that, so maybe it could be that. I don't know. But yeah, so I really wanted to share that because I know some people like to hear about ghostly experiences, and I have a lot of them. I just haven't been sharing them, and I figured, why not sit down and share it? It is Labor Day. I'm probably going to upload this tomorrow because I've got a lot of things to do. I'm supposed to be doing a lot of things, but then I decided, you know, I'm going to sit down and share this story. But yeah, and I'm currently working on other stuff that I need to sit down and make. So yeah, it's been really nice having my sister here, especially because of the presences I feel and the loneliness. But she's also really helpful and stuff like that. So yeah, but that's my current ghostly experience that I've had recently. So if you have any thoughts, explanations, or if you are someone out there who, I don't know, knows what I can do or like what it could be, please let me know. And if you've ever had any experiences, share them with me because I love to hear them. If you want to hear me talk about more experiences that I've had and being an empath and all that fun stuff, let me know and I'll talk about that stuff too. And if you'd like me to make a video with my sister about the experiences she's had and the experiences that we had growing up together, I'd also love to do that as well. So yeah, so thank you for joining me in this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post. And I'm so excited that it's September. I am that bitch that believes once it hits September, it is spooky season. And yes, I did go get a, what was it? A cold brew with the pumpkin cream stuff. I did go and get that. I don't like pumpkin spice lattes, but that's a really good drink. I do want to try the apple ones at Starbucks, but anyway. And I'm really excited for spooky season and some of the things that I really want to do and I have lined up for the most part. We'll see how that goes. Mental health can be difficult. And yeah, and I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. Please be safe out there. And this is Kat signing off.